fantasy romance books I would recommend to men. This video comes by request, but hopefully whether you are a man or not, you can find a book that is a good fit for you. All of these books are dual POV, so you will have scenes from both love interests' perspective interspersed throughout the book. First up, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. This was my husband's contribution to the list. Brandon Sanderson has a sizable male readership, and I think this fantasy romance could be a good introduction to the genre. If you're someone who likes anime, this is also heavily inspired by the movie Your Name. It has all the big plot twists and complex world building we're used to seeing from Sanderson, and at the heart of it has a very sweet, very wholesome love story. Next up is Burn for Me by Ilona Andrews. Set in a modern-day alternative Houston, the premise of this book is that a lady private detective gets hired to track down a human nuke and teams up with a human hurricane to do it. This book is funny and action-packed, and while I would classify it as a romance, the love story aspect is undergirded by very complex world building and backstory. This book really dives into the concept of to whom much is given, much is required. Connor Rogan, the main love interest, has this recurring motif where he's aware that he has like all this power, all this money, all this magic, and as a result he has all this responsibility and all this obligation, not just to the people who work for him and the people in his direct purview, but also society at large. He is not generally a nice person, but he has his own code of honor that I think is very believable. Think like an action thriller movie, but with magic, and you get this. Raven Unveiled by Grace Draven. If you are someone who enjoyed The Witcher or any of the darker, grittier fantasy series, this might be for you. I am very picky with political intrigue in books, and not many romance authors can pull it off, but I think Grace Draven does. It really did remind me of The Witcher, where you have these nobles and this prince who's scheming in the background and their decisions are directly creating problems for the main characters. There's also a monster hunting single dad who falls in love with the adoptive mother figure of his daughter, who also has a lot of really powerful magic. And of course, very scary monsters. This reads about 50-50 high fantasy romance, so if you're someone who likes the grittier, darker fantasy books and you want to read romance, this might be worth a shot. This is technically the third book in the series, but it reads as a standalone, and I read this one first and I didn't have any problems. Of Deeds Most Valiant by Sarah K.L. Wilson. This is a romance, but we have rival paladin orders forced to work together, demons out to corrupt them if they can't stop them, and a monastery that is so very cursed. Imagine if you have a Dungeons & Dragons campaign with all paladins, and this is what you get. Adelbrand as the main character isn't idealized the way a lot of romance heroes are. He has insecurities and flaws, but is still quite a badass at the end of the day. I really love this book. You've probably seen me recommend it before, but I cannot recommend it enough. Bastard's Honor by Elizabeth Wheatley. According to polling, my readership is about 30 to 40% male. Thadrid is a favorite with everyone, not just guys, but I have had several men reach out to me and tell me that his character specifically is relatable. Thadrid was always going to be a knight until a catastrophic injury ended his career. Ser is a sorceress and a widow who fought with Thadrid in the war that ended a year previously. When Ser's son is kidnapped by one of their mutual old enemies, they team up to hunt down the person responsible and save her son. This book has been really well received in general, but I have gotten good feedback from male readers in particular. There are my recommendations. If you are a man or really anyone who's been wanting to start fantasy romance, I hope you found something here that looks like your thing.